Hey everybody, Kate Buck Jr. here, and welcome to this week's Hangout. It's Thursday, April 6th, 2017, so we're kicking off the second quarter of the year. So I hope your business and your plan for this quarter, your first quarter went well, and you're all lined up and ready to have a great second quarter of the year. It's hard to believe we're this far in, but here we are. So today's topic, I'm working with a client on this, and so again, you guys kind of get the preview, the behind the scenes, the what I'm working on at the time that I'm working on it. So you are seeing today social media marketing launch plan for book authors. And we'll be diving into that on today's Hangout. So first of all, before I dig in too much, why don't we all take a moment and say hello in the chat on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should see a chat just to the right. And here we are. I've said hello. I'd love to see who is on. Who's on the Hangout. So I'll just say hello. I see a few. We have some people still coming on right here at the top of the hour. So I'll give people just a little bit more of a chance to get settled and get on before I dive into the content. I'll reiterate that you're seeing, I'll reiterate two things. One is I'm not the best graphics person. I am the content person. So part of what you're gonna see today is my first out of this presentation, and I always need to do more on the design side. So some of what you'll see is great content that doesn't look all that engaging, and again, that's because you guys are kind of getting the preview behind the scenes of something that I'm working on to deliver to a client, and I will continue to update you on with this presentation as I add more to it. So there's that. First of all, I wanted you guys to know that. Also, what else? There were two things, but now I can only remember one. Haha. Pretty funny. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll be adding to it, some content to it, and I'll also be working on the design. But I definitely think that what I'm going to show you guys is pretty cool stuff. I've been working on it. I worked on it for several hours the other day, and I will be, I worked on it for about 4 hours this morning. So I'm pretty happy with what we've got so far here. And I think this will be useful for you. If you're saying hello in the chat, I see Joe Harrison is here, Tammy is here. Hi, both of you. I'd love it if you could also tell me, are you an author yourself, or do you have an author client that you're doing their social media marketing for, or just really their online marketing? Because the truth is, this presentation is going to touch more on a book launch plan in its entirety than just, oh, Joe is here from France. Hello, pretty cool. Yeah, because I'm gonna talk about a book launch plan, more a marketing launch plan for authors, and not necessarily just social media. The reason for that is, I'll go ahead and start diving in. The reason for that is exactly this. Hi, Jean. Hi, Jean. The reason for that is this, and that is because the best thing you can do to have success in social media when you're launching anything at all is to start now. So anytime that someone comes to me and they say, Kate, how do I launch something on social? How do I, launch my book? How do I launch my program? How do I promote my event? That's pretty much my answer was, well, how much of an audience do you have, and when did you start building relationships? Because if you're not building your own relationships in social media, and you're not building your platform now or ahead of time, then when it comes to launching anything, whether that's a book or a program or a service or an event or a new product, you want to be leveraging existing connections and existing relationships. Otherwise, you're either going to have to do one of two things. And I actually wish this slide was in there. Yeah, you're either going to have to, since I'm working on it, I will do that. Insert new slide. You're either going to have to do one of two things. One is spend money. Well, maybe it's two things, or three things, sorry. Spend time, leverage other, I'll say leverage others. We'll go with that. All right, good. That's how these things work. If this is your first connect, that's how they work. I wish I had this slide in here. So what do? Stop and put this slide in. All right, so we'll go back to presenter mode. Hey, Matthew, welcome to the call. Welcome to all of our new members. Really glad that you guys are here. So here's the idea, is that if you want to grow something or you want to launch something with an organic social plan, then the idea is, somebody asked me the other day, Kate, how do I get, how do I get something I've been working on to go viral on Twitter? And I said, get in your time machine, go back to 2009 and start building your platform like I did when you thought I was stupid for hanging out on Twitter for all that time, right? Because if not, you are going to have to spend some money. You are going to have to use your elbow grease to really, I say spending time and elbow grease, I mean working hard, following people, conversing in Twitter chats, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get into those activities here in a minute. Or you have to leverage already existing audiences. So who already has an existing audience that you can leverage? This is true, again, for anything that you're trying to launch on social. You either have already built an organic following that just naturally you can share stuff to and it goes viral, which very, very few people have successfully done. Right? And even when those people do that, they're still going to put some energy into the book launch by coming up with, or into the launch, I'll say, by putting together an ad budget, by dedicating some time to specific activities, and to getting in front of people like influencers or other media sites that have an audience. These really are your only options. You either buy it, you put in the hard work, or you have a relationship. So, all right. So let's say you understand my point here about all of this, right? Then you're ready to say, okay, well, I'm going to start writing my book, or maybe I have already written a book, but I'm in the place where I need to ramp up my promotion. Then the first thing that you need to do is you do need to build your platform. So I like to have authors that have already done this, or I like to tell authors, that you should already be doing this. Here's an example of my friend Kamal. He's been active in social for a long time, and I just wanted you to see his pretty Facebook cover image here. So you need to have a following on Twitter, a following on Facebook by creating a Facebook page specifically for you as an author. See Kamal Ravikant author, and that particularly talks about your books, okay? So this isn't you as a speaker. If you've already done that as a speaker or a coach or whatever else it is that you do, a service provider, then definitely you can use that as well. But if you haven't set anything up yet, then I recommend your Facebook page be around your book and your authorship. But you need to start building your blog readers, your email subscribers, and you need to put together a book website. There are a lot of really great book website templates out there. One of the best that I've seen in a while is Tim Ferriss's for his recent Tools of the Titans, which is no surprise. He is a marketing genius, so to speak. And this is just what you see above the fold when you get to his website. There's social proof, the title of the book, the cover, and available now with links to buy in all the important places. So again, all of these assets or all of these, pieces, including your Twitter and your Facebook, including having a blog and an email list, you need to also have a website. Now take a special note here in the parentheses where it says for bulk hardcover purchases, please click here. We're going to talk about putting together offers for your book launch plan here very shortly. One other important piece is Amazon. Amazon is very, very important for getting books sold these days. So I highly recommend that you have an Amazon author page, right? Where you could put blurbs about yourself, and you can also put links. You can't see it in this screenshot, but there are links to James's social media profiles. And then you can keep sort of a blog here, just like an RSS feed of your blog here, pulling in your author updates where you can insert all kinds of media like videos, your blogs, images, anything that will qualify as an author update. A KDP account, again, is getting more on the technical side of Kindle publishing, but it will come in, if you don't use, you need to use KDP because it will come in later as part of your marketing plan because Kindle Direct Publishing offers free marketing days, which you may have heard of. So we'll be talking about those in just a second. But again, here where we're talking about setting up your platforms and getting going, this is an important piece of the puzzle. More on building your platform. One important thing, and I think this is actually true of everyone that's trying to be an expert these days. I've been talking about this with Jesse for a while. You must be producing your own original content on your own site. Now, we're going to talk in a minute about getting that content seen, but I feel like this is something, I talked about it the last 2 weeks when we did mini audits. If you guys go back and listen to the replays of our Connect Hangouts for the last 2 weeks where I was doing mini audits, I was reiterating over and over and over again that no longer is it sufficient, and I don't believe it has been for a while, but now we're in that phase of you could have still gotten away with it, but now you can no longer get away with being an expert without producing your own original content on your own on your own website and distributing that content through your own social channels. In order to be positioned as an authority, you must be doing this. It doesn't just have to be a blog. It can also be a podcast or a vlog, but it needs to be that thing where you have your honest voice with your unique perspective and your opinion. Even if you're just getting started, you can, sort of be a reporter and share what the news and all of that is all in your industry already and just add your own commentary to it. But eventually you must develop yourself into a thought leader if you want to be positioned as an expert. If you're trying to do, so for you guys that are, this is not just specific to launching a book, right? And I know I'm also speaking here mostly to nonfiction authors. I did put some screenshots in here from Kamal's book because he is a fiction author. I wanted you guys to see how it's even applicable there as well. But most definitely for someone who's trying to launch and share a any kind of ebook myself, any kind of ebook or any kind of Kindle book, or even if you're trying to get picked up by a traditional publisher, they're going to be looking for your thought leadership and also your following on these social media channels, right? So like I said, this is not just applicable if you're trying to launch a book. This is just true if you're trying to build a business and position yourself as an expert. However, there is one problem with producing your own original content, and that is that there is a lot of noise and a lot of content being shared in social and on the web. So in order for that content to be seen, you need traffic. right? You have a traffic problem. So again, you could buy that traffic if you have a marketing budget set aside for Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn ads or even YouTube ads. But if you don't, then you need to leverage those places where an audience already exists. And that would be through guest blogging, right? So bigger sites that curate content like Examiner type sites where you have authors, Huffington Post, for instance, you see people saying as seen on Forbes, HuffPo, entrepreneur.com, entrepreneur. These are places where people, let's see, I think my friend Ryan Stewman is notorious for this. He's publishing content on all of these authority sites that publish authors and already have an audience. You can syndicate your content on aggregate sites for podcasts and blogs. So for instance, if you do decide to do a podcast or a blog, there are hub websites for podcasts and blogs that will help you syndicate that content out to larger audiences that are basically using those sites as search engines for interesting content. And again, you should be publishing yourself in your industry trade publications, whether that be online or offline newsletters. You should be producing content for relevant conferences, newsletters, magazines, meetup groups, all that kind of stuff that again, places where they already have an audience, they're looking for content to share with that audience. You should be there sharing your content. And of course, always getting a link back to this place where you put your original content. All right, join book clubs and participate. Join Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, Twitter chats, Reddit AMAs, the niche forum or blog sites that are only particular to that industry or market. You need to go ahead now and become known as a contributing member. Join and be a member first. That way later, as you are contributing, you're known, you're a valuable player. People know who you are. They'll reach out and want to follow you directly, get connected with you directly. And then when again, leading up to the time that you want to launch, you've got you've got places that you can potentially post, although a lot of these places don't allow you to actually post in them. But you can again be building relationships in these groups. People will follow you, and sometimes you can reach out and ask the admin for permission to post a link to your book. Particularly, for instance, I'm going to talk to you a little later about giving a free giveaway. A lot of times, if you're willing to give away a link to like a free chapter, your group admins will allow you to do that. Or you come on the Twitter chat as a guest expert, and at the end, oftentimes, they will let you drop a link in. So the idea is get known as a contributing member in these groups and these clubs early on. Don't wait until the last minute. Now, another book promotion platform that you could use is crowdfunding. I'm not going to go into this because it would be its own complete presentation. But I did want to mention it in this presentation as crowdfunding could be a way to build anticipation, have people contribute a little bit to getting different perks for and or getting the book when it launches. And it's almost like people are buying the book before it actually comes out so that they can get perks and t-shirts, swag, time with you, expert bonuses, all that kind of, or exclusive bonuses. But again, that would be an entirely separate presentation. So I just wanted to kind of drop it in here to get your mind going in that direction. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about now, as you're doing this platform building, right? All this platform building that we're talking about, I'm suggesting that you do before you launch the book. So while you're launching, or while you're writing the book, or during different phases of writing the book, You're gonna write, edit, design, and publish. So don't forget that you're not just throwing these things together. The voice, the perspective, your thought leadership needs to be your hook of your book. It needs to be expertly crafted. So, you know, today anybody can write and publish a book on Amazon. You don't even really need to edit it. You don't need any help with it. You can do that entirely free, all by yourself. But because we have this huge democratic pool, or this democratization of publishing, there's also a lot of crap out there. So it goes without saying that if you're going to write something and publish something and you want it or expect it to be a bestseller, that you need to have a unique hook. You need to be teaching more than just regurgitated information that they can get from other places. So along the way, your cover design and your title, for instance, use your social media following to test these ideas along the way. So here's an example from somebody that I follow who speaks a lot about self-publishing, named James Altucher, and I'll be pointing you in his direction for more resources later in this presentation. But he did a little Facebook poll to help him pick his title, and you can see overwhelmingly his number one was not choose yourself. His number one was one of the other 7 options. But he did a Facebook poll, and you can see overwhelmingly his Facebook audience liked choose yourself. That is huge social proof and an indication to go that direction. You can also do this, like I said, with your cover design contests. You could have even people submit ideas for your cover design, or you could have 2 or 3 covers designed and engage your audience in helping select the cover images. And these are ways, again, that we're building anticipation, that we're letting people know what's happening, and they're engaging and interactive. So it's not just, hey, I'm about to publish a book. Hey, I'm about to publish a book. Hey, buy my book when I launch it. It's involving your audience in the creation of the book itself, which is always how you want to go about it, right? Which is always a good thing. Now let's get to the marketing plan, okay? And again, this is not just a social media marketing plan, so it's going to involve pieces from all directions. So the first thing that you want to do, your book is finished, you're ready to publish, and you want to launch, is you want to come up with an offer. So one example of an offer is to give away a free chapter on your website. So people can opt in, and then they can get a PDF of the first chapter. Again, this allows you to go back to those book clubs, go back to those Facebook and LinkedIn groups, go to your social media following, and share links where people can get a free chapter, and your email list. You know, anywhere that you anywhere that you can go, any audiences or any assets that you have built up. I liked this idea about embedding social sharing into the chapter using like a retweet button. So in a PDF, you can embed HTML code, and this is one way to also increase your sharing. You could also put this, you could also put share buttons on the thank you page after people opt in to get the free chapter. On the thank you page, you could maybe give them a second chapter for free if they tweet or share or pin on Pinterest like that. So embed sharing options into a free giveaway is the first idea that I have for you when it comes to creating a book marketing plan. Is you want to have this in place and kind of go out with this ahead of time. This is something that you can even do maybe the week or 2 leading up to the launch as a teaser and as an anticipation builder. You don't have to wait until the book is launched to do this strategy. Now, reviews are super important. So if you craft this compelling offer, you will get people to, this will help you to get people to buy the book. So some of the other offers that actually get people to buy the book that I have seen and is using a reimbursement offer. So if people go to Amazon and they buy the book and they leave a review, if they send you their receipt, you send them a PayPal or whatever and reimburse them for the cost of the book. You can also create a bundle. That is, if someone buys the book, you can send them to your book website where they can get bonuses. Maybe you send a hardcover version of the book, but there are other materials that you can do digitally, like an audio version of the book, right? You record the audio book and give that away when people buy it. You can bundle it with checklists, cheat sheets, a supplemental workbook, other books that you have written or other original writing, access to trainings, digital products, a private Facebook group for buyers of the book for discussion. These are all things that you can bundle together and put together as an offer to say, those who buy the book, right, when it comes out of the gate in an effort to help me get to bestseller, I will either reimburse you for a review, or I will reimburse you for the purchase of your book, or I will bundle so that you can get access to these bonuses. These are all things that entice people to buy the book. While this might sound crazy, you have to remember that getting to bestseller isn't going to happen without some kind of investment, just like we talked about at the beginning. So you want to leverage whatever you can in order to get people to buy the book, even if it means that you pay them back for it. Think about it. If you entice someone to leave a review and you pay them back, those reviews build up and it helps you get to the top of the Amazon. When you get to the top of Amazon for search, other people see your book and they buy it and pay full price. So this buzz in the beginning is to position the book so that later you can generate sales without doing as much marketing. Don't forget to send advanced copies to readers, even if they're in draft or manuscript form, and have them agree to review on day one, or even send you a review ahead of time. So again, here's an example of my friend Kamal. I got an advanced reading copy before the book came out. I was super excited. I posted on social media, 286 likes. That was just on Instagram, and then lots of comments. And so this was, sending out 10, 15, 20 advanced reading copies is not a bad idea, especially to your influencers and your close friends that have any kind of audiences. And I didn't share this because I was asked to. I shared it because I was super, super excited about this book. And I wanted people, I wanted to share it with my audience. I wasn't even asked to. Now, as far as leveraging where there are pockets of audience attention, getting media is one of the most important things that you can do. So the idea is be everywhere. This is the part where I'm talking about you're going to put in, quote unquote, the work, right? This is where you're going to put in the work, because what you're going to do is schedule as many podcast interviews as possible. Say yes to speaking gigs, any and all speaking gigs that you possibly can. Hold on. I just thought of something that I wanted to add and I want to make a note. 10. All right. Speaking gigs. Coordinate your publishing date with local and national conferences that you might be speaking at, right? Or that you might want to speak at. You can bring the book and do book signings there. But if your author is not at the level of that, you can speak at local meetup groups. Again, this is where you're going to be out hitting the pavement and just trying to get in front of as many people as possible. Agree to do virtual telesummits, virtual web-based or telesummits where you're just being interviewed along with a panel of 12 other speakers. Again, continue doing your guest blog posts any place that you can possibly post content where somebody, again, has an audience that can see it, you want to be there. Create a video trailer and post that on YouTube, republish that on your website, use that across all your social media channels. People often forget about SlideShare, but create a SlideShare presentation and post that to SlideShare. It is a really weighty site. In other words, it has Google authority. And so maybe, again, post some of your favorite quotes from the book, or maybe post some key takeaways from the book, something, again, that you can kind of give away as content that can be SEO friendly and is another piece of content that you have to share out in your social media. If you can get yourself on a Reddit AMA, that's awesome. Again, participating in those Twitter chats, now is the time to, it's like be active before so that they know you. Now is the time to be booked as the expert, right? And any traditional TV, radio, magazine, or newspaper coverage that you can get is awesome. People still do read these things. They do listen to the radio. And the best way to do that is by using Haro, a site called Haro. So if you're not familiar with Haro, I recommend that you get familiar with Haro. It is a place where reporters and journalists put out media requests. They're looking for experts. So let's see, maybe I'll hop out of presenter mode here for a second and just show you Haro. So if you're a source here, I'm a source, meaning I'm available to, I'm a Haro user and I'm available to connect with journalists. 3 times per day, an email goes out looking for source requests relevant to you or your industry, your expertise, or your personal experience. And then you reply to those requests with your information, and the person reaches out directly. So I recently did this for a client. We were looking for guest contributors for our blog, and we put out, we pay to put out the requests, and we got 5 or 6 really good responses, and we actually chose to interview everybody. So you definitely want to go and subscribe to Haro, know the rules, but subscribe to get those on a daily basis. Hi, Susan, welcome. I haven't seen you on in a while. I just looked over at the chat. Really good to see you. All right, let me hop back into the presentation. Ooh, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. Very cool. All right, so definitely this will help you, just contribute a blurb or a quote to an article, and usually you get a link back to your website or your blog post, or you could use it to link to directly to your Amazon listing. But the media is, again, one of those places where you're leveraging where people already have attention. So if you were building up influence relationships and influencer marketing prior to your book launch, now is the time to call in those favors, right? Make lists of all of your contacts. You should have been building relationships all along the way. You should have been making connections for people, offering to introduce people, doing favors for people, meeting up for coffee. Again, these relationships that you should be looking to build are with people that will be motivated to help you at the time that your book launches. Definitely your inner circle, your friends and family will be important to do this. Business acquaintances, people that you've helped along the way, and influencer marketing, which again is one of those areas that I could do an entire presentation on influencer marketing, but reaching out to influencers is something you can do all along the way. Advanced reader strategy is something to do with your influencers. Anything that you can do to help someone or give value to someone who will then later post or share about you and your book launch is something that should be embedded into your marketing plan. The thing that you can do to really help make this easier is to prepare email copy and social media posts with text, links, and and images. With text, links, and images that they can use. This will make it easy for them to share content on their social media channels and to their contacts. So just put this information somewhere on your website, on a page where the assets are easily, you know, media page where assets are easily accessible. This would be copies of the book cover. This would be images with reader reviews. This would be key quotes from the book. This will be links to your blog post, links to about the book launch. This would be linked to pages where they can buy or to your book website, etc. So like if you were going to reach out to me and say, hey, Kate, something else actually I want to put in here. If you were going to reach out to me and say, hey, Kate, will you post about my book because I've helped you along the way, I would want an easy place for myself to go to grab images or copy and stuff that I can say. I would definitely fluff that up or make it better with my own voice, but having assets that are easily accessible for influencers is key. One thing I also wanted to add in here is one around influencers. Oh, I guess I also wanted to say, please don't make mass requests. So don't send out a mass email asking people to do this. Please send personal messages. Please send personal messages asking people, make them, you know, part of your content can be copy paste, but if you just send a blanket PR request to personal people, it's in poor taste. I just wanted to circle back to about influencers is it's also really important if you pick somebody to write the foreword that they be someone who is influential in your market, so that also gives your book some credibility, and likely that influencer will also share. And so that is an important piece of this marketing plan also. Okay, there are lots of websites out there where free books, ebooks, and free Kindle books can be listed. You can see in this screenshot up here on the right, I just did a Google search for free ebook listing sites. A couple of them I put up here. I found a blog post, the top one, 127 best book promotion sites and submission tools. Some of these were free, some of these were paid, but still really good resource. And Free Booksy here is kind of like an example where people sign up to get links to free places where they can get free ebooks. A lot of times this is on Kindle. And again, these are your book promotion strategies for the first few weeks. If you came to this hangout thinking that we were going to talk about how to be use social media to be a bestseller and launch your book and also keep all the money in the beginning, then you are crazy. Again, this is an investment that will pay off in getting new customers, new consulting gigs, new paid keynotes. Your book is not necessarily your moneymaker. Your book is your calling card. But if you do it right, then you position the book so that later it's still isn't this funny? I just came over to see if anybody had posted anything in Connect, and then I just saw a message from my friend Josh who says, hey, I'm just following up because we connected at this event. Also, I just launched my new book and I'm doing daily Facebook Lives with my friends. Since the book is about integrating aspects of vision, health, relationships, and business, I thought of you. Would you come on for a Facebook Live in the near future? So yeah, not just getting on other people's podcasts, but inviting people with audiences to come on your podcast. I think that's funny timing that just happened. So anyways, yep, I didn't see any comments. Let's see. All right, if you guys have any questions as we go or anything to contribute, please feel free to pop into the chat. I do check it periodically throughout the Hangout. So if you do list on Amazon, you can, and you use KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, you can use free book days or discounted book days, 99-cent book days. But if you go for free, then you can use these free book listing submission sites. And again, leverage these audiences that are, these sites have already built up an audience that are interested in finding free books. They will read your book. And then hopefully they will leave you a review or share about it if they liked it, and it will also help you with your Amazon ranking. All right, I know I'm not going super in depth on each of these topics. Almost any single one of them would be an entire Hangout, but I wanted to finally get to, well, what do we do about social media marketing, right? Because everything I've said before kind of utilizes social media marketing, but it's not necessarily just the social media marketing plan. Well, if you've done all the things that I suggested leading up to your launch, then at this point, you would have a ton of content to distribute via social media, as well as lots of engagement happening and mentions happening, so you'd have plenty of conversation to participate in. So at this point, when you want to engage your social media marketing plan, I recommend that you use the 5-step HNI approach, which is here available to you inside of Social Media Pro, and the, oops, I thought I was on it, which is in the Social Media Pro course, the 5-step HNI approach. Listen, create content, grow your audience, engage the audience, and invite. Okay, and that is here in your Social Media Pro course, right? We go through all the steps to the 5-step approach: listen, create, grow, engage, and invite. All you really need to do, focus on at this point, is creating and distributing that content. So continue to write long-form blog posts, sharing images on Instagram and Pinterest, leveraging Facebook video and YouTube as your video channels. And your content can be anything from reviews, your book trailer, interviews where you're on somebody else's show, interviews of other people on your podcast or your blog, and quotes from the book. Use all, stories is rampant right now from Instagram, Snapchat, and both Facebook and Facebook Messenger. So use stories and cross-post your content through Twitter. And yes, I know, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but Google Plus is also a channel, and you can just use if this then that to kind of send your content through Google Plus, which is barely functional but still important for search. Joe Harrison is contributing. Goodreads is another place to participate. You can also set up free giveaways for print editions, and they are just starting to do Kindle editions in beta for some. Yes, Goodreads is one of those social channels. Let's see, I thought about putting it in here, but I glossed over it, where I said book clubs, one of the most important ones. So I love that I just kind of edit on the fly here. Whoops. As long as my add Goodreads as a place to engage and set up your free giveaways. I was not aware of the free giveaways, but I did know about it as a kind of book club is what I would call it, but it's a website for that. It's actually way more than that. You can get book reviews. There's lots of stuff going on there. Okay, and cross-posting. So if you don't have time for everything, pick one or two platforms, but then use if this, then that to cross-share all of your content. I grabbed this quick little 30-day social media calendar just to show you that reader surveys, current events, behind the scenes, infographic, listicles, announcements, videos, quotes, memes, question of the day. There's plenty of content that you can create around the book. That's really not the problem. You then need to distribute that content via social in all the right places. So you're kind of like omnipresent and multi-channel present. Social media only promos, personality, still following all of your best practices for social media. So sharing that content, distributing it is one thing, but you do need to get awareness, right? You do need that content to actually be seen. And you do want to then move those people who see your content. We want to move them to inviting them to download, or I'm sorry, to buy the book. So again, we've talked about this a lot. Very simple strategy is on the awareness side. Do a quote from the book. This is actually not an example from a book, but this is Jesse doing a image quote on his Facebook page. And do set aside a little bit of a marketing budget to promote this quote to your target audience. Then go back and retarget the people who engaged with this post with a link to buy your product, to your service. And in this case, what we're talking about on this hangout is an invitation to buy your book. Okay, so use this example from Jesse's page, which is more about, which is funny, it's actually backwards. He's been doing photo quotes for a while. I just saw the dates there. That's pretty funny. But anyways, this is a retargeting people who engage with your page and your content to go someplace where they can buy the book. So that is your basic book marketing plan with social media engagement. Two resources that I have for you. I mentioned James Altucher, The Ultimate Guide to Self-Publishing Your Bestseller Book. And he talks about marketing in here as well as the ins and outs of self-publishing. Also, I really loved this checklist that I found, this book marketing checklist, and you can download it. I put the link. You guys will get links to the slides, but there's just a ton of really great info in here that digs deep into a lot of the stuff that I just shared with you. And I found this booklaunch.com to be an invaluable resource. The last resource that I do want to point you to is, as I just want to mention, this presentation really is not that much different than a presentation that has been in the Social Media Pro training for a while called Beyond Social Media Management. And if you head back in there, I said this throughout the presentation, but this really isn't just for, this really isn't specifically just for authors, right? This plan, when you want to launch anything and you want to make sales of anything and you're trying to position yourself as a thought leader, is really is about becoming an expert. And so I dig in also to Beyond Social Media Management bonus training, how to be seen as an expert. Attention, leveraging authority as sites, becoming known as an expert, speaking at events, and a lot of that is in here. Who you are is your Google results. One of my favorite, one of my little favorite quotes there. Who you are is your Google results. So you want to just start now positioning yourself or your client, right? Since we were kind of talking about doing this for authors, whether you want to be the author or whether you have a client that is an author, you really want to start positioning them now as an expert so that when you go to launch something, you're already in a position to do that and you're not having to engage last minute social strategies in order to do it, right? So we are right at the top of the hour, so I would take any questions for the next few minutes that you want to post in the YouTube chat, or any comments that you want to, any comments or any additions that you want to make. Please feel free to drop those in the YouTube chat, and I will answer or say them out loud as they come in. You're going to hear a little minute or so pause because the time that it takes, the little lag time between me saying that and you getting the message and typing is about 2 minutes. I feel like maybe I should play like the Jeopardy. While we're paused here. No? All right, well, if no one has any questions or there aren't any contributions in the chat, then we can go ahead and wrap up today's Hangout. We were right there at the top of the hour. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciated having as many of you on as I did. And we will, next week Jessie is up. So you will be hearing from my co-founder, Jessie Jameson, next week on the Hangout. So look forward to announcements about that. And we will see you in the Facebook group between now and next week. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.